Hello?
What's good, Young? How are we doing?
I'm doing good. Just practicing still, but yeah, I'm down to do the meditation.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to meditation, what is your preconceived notion of what mindfulness meditation is?
I feel like it's just probably hyper focus on one area or just multiple focuses so you can keep your mind off of things.
All
It's
right.
like, yeah.
I mean,
And how do you feel about that? About
that's
meditation?
not, that's how do I say this? That was your preconceived notions didn't go off on a rant that didn't cover what meditation is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Normally, a lot of people when they go, okay, well, I think meditation is this. It's like they have like some crazy idea about meditation of like all the things that it's not, and I was just kind of making sure that that wasn't there.
Okay.
Um,
Then what is it to you?
so mindfulness meditation in particular, which is going to be what we're practicing, and actually the style we're practicing is specifically open awareness. Um, is kind of the most basic of the practice is noticing or being with your body as it is now, or like the sounds in your environment, some form of anchor that you can bring your attention back to on repeat, and then you're gonna eventually drift off into thought, which is completely to be expected. It's completely normal, and if you didn't drift off into thought, I would think you were some like enlightened being, you know. And then after you drift into thought, eventually there's a noticing that you're not focused on the anchor anymore. And then just with that noticing, you just gently bring your attention back to the anchor, right?
What do you mean by gently, though?
So why gently? So let's pretend for a second we're in the middle of this meditation, right? And all of a sudden you realize you've been like in this thought loop about like stocks for like 4 minutes, right? And you're just now noticing that like your attention's not been on the breath for like a solid 4 minutes. Um, what are you thinking about yourself right now? In terms of if you just
Like
notice it took you 4 whole minutes to realize.
4 whole minutes to realize, I feel like, damn, shit, my mind goes all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of just,
Maybe a little frustrated.
oh, definitely frustrated. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely frustrated. Like I set myself out to do this one thing and I can't do it,
Yeah.
even though it's a simple thing where, oh, you just don't
And
empty
see,
your mind.
there it is. There it is. Okay. So,
Yeah.
what you're actually trying to do is the actual noticing.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that moment that you've noticed you've been distracted for that 4 whole minutes, right now you've kind of got this notion like, I was trying to do this one thing and I couldn't do it, but like, look, man, the moment that you're having that thought is the same moment that you actually succeeded.
Why do you say that?
Because up until you noticed you weren't thinking, you didn't even have an opportunity. Like, as soon as you notice you're distracted, that's your first opportunity. You don't even have like
Okay.
a chance to do a repetition until that noticing happens.
Okay, that makes sense.
Do you ever space out then focus on trying to space back in so you stay spaced out? Man, potato this morning, oh fuck, man. So that stuff's way easier to notice when I have my EEG device like actually hooked up and like sending biofeedback to my headphones, because like I'll notice I'm spaced out because the like sounds in the environment will get louder to like let me know that I'm not in this like alert but calm state of mind. And like I was laying down too, so when you're laying down, what'll happen is you'll go to calm, but then you'll keep going, past calm, and like once you start to get sleepy, you're back to distracted. So like there's this sweet zone here where you're like actually focused, and then like up here you're like wired and your brain's going all over the place, and down here you're just like you're sleepy and your brain's also going all over the place. And then sometimes when I'm trying to refocus, like that'll be its own thought loop. That'll like spark its own like adventure where all of a sudden it's like I'll be like, okay, time to gently return my attention back to the breath, and like all of a sudden I'll realize that turned in like it's to its own thought loop. Like I wonder what like the best way to return my attention to the breath is, and I think feeling it like this is working, and like stuff like that, where all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I never actually came back to the breath. How much of that was helpful, Carl, so far? Or Young? I'll just stick with Young.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, so it makes sense. So my question is, how many times do you have to do this, and why are you doing this for? Is it just to get increased focus? Is it to?
So,
what are the benefits?
So you want to do this daily. Even if you're doing it for 5 minutes a day, you're setting yourself up for success in terms of the habit. There's a couple reasons as to why you'd want to do it. On the scientific side of things, there's studies that show that if you meditate for 20 minutes a day, this style of mindfulness, open awareness meditation in particular, until I think it's for 2 months, there's scientific data to show reduction in anxiety, reduction in stress, increase in problem-solving abilities. So that's the benefits on the scientific side of things, when we don't even have to get into like the theoretical of, okay, if I'm doing this, how might I benefit from it type of thing. So there's that. But on that note, 20 minutes a day right off the bat can be kind of difficult. At least for me, I even find why is it difficult?
Yeah, why is it difficult?
Because it's frustrating.
Yes. Okay.
That's the truth.
That makes a lot of sense.
So what a lot of people, I think, a commonly asked question is, how long should I meditate? So if you're meditating for 5 minutes and you're able to just kind of come back, and like you lose focus, come back, you can probably extend it a little bit longer. I end up doing like 20-minute sessions, but when I go like past like 20 minutes, or start to do like super long sessions, sometimes those space outs start to get longer, not shorter.
Yeah.
And like that in itself can get frustrating. Sometimes it'll be like the same space out like 9 times in a row, and you're like, can I seriously just stop thinking about this, Which I have advice for that too, but we'll get to that. I'm not trying to swamp
I heard
you.
I heard some things about meditation was about sitting with your feelings, right? Is that one thing?
I think that's definitely there. So part of the idea behind open awareness meditation and why we do it is that there are a bunch of things that we're not necessarily aware of that are still there. So example, like there could be like a dog barking while we're trying to focus on making a decision, right?
Yeah.
And it's really easy to not notice that you're using a bunch of energy to ignore the dog. Until eventually you turn, you snap, and you like scream at the dog, and you're like, shut up, So up until like that moment where you snapped, there was like this whole set of emotions that were starting to rise in you that you were just like kind of half aware of at best. And then those emotions led you to make a decision without like any choice.
Okay. So how can you not think about the feelings when you're supposed to sit with it?
What do you mean by not think about?
Like when you're frustrated about that dog sound, how you sit with your frustration, right?
Yeah. So part of it is knowing it's there.
Okay.
So part of
being
it,
aware about what's new.
so this is beautiful. This gets me into what we talked about on day one with zero, and it's a model called acceptance versus control. So the control model of that situation with the dog looks something like this. I don't want to scream at my dog, but I'm angry.
Okay.
The acceptance model, which is what we're going to be working towards, is I don't want to scream at my dog, and I'm angry.
Okay.
You can kind of see where that feels a little different.
Yeah. From I'm gonna scream at my dog.
Well, both of them
Because you
are
realize-
both of them are I don't want to scream at my dog, but one of them's but I'm angry, and the other one's and I'm angry.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
When someone says
So
but
are
I'm
you-
angry, they're kind of making an excuse, right?
Yeah.
When you say and I'm angry, you're accepting that you're angry and you still don't want to make this decision.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So, you think multiple practices of meditation will help you accept those type of feelings or frustrations
So
and help you realize those feelings?
So what meditation will do for you is it'll give you a seated practice where it's basically, think about science. You strip away as many variables as you can, right?
Mm.
And then you come into a seated practice where there's as little distraction as possible, but as you go, there will be more distractions. And I actually like to do the stuff in public now because I like the extra distraction. You're gonna notice when you're sitting there, and especially when we do the part today where I like have you focus on the sounds in your environment, you're gonna notice that sounds or thoughts are gonna spark reactions, or spark like a want for a reaction.
Yeah.
And I want you to just get better and better at observing that. Like at first, to give you an example, I was meditating back when I worked at McDonald's like 5-6 years ago, and I was out in lobby and I could hear them talking about me because they saw me like out there, and like I wanted to get up and like go be like, oh, I'm just meditating, like, you know, I wanted to go explain myself, right? But at the same time, like, the practice was not to react. The practice was to acknowledge that I wanted to go do that and then to come back to what I was choosing to focus on.
Okay.
So in essence, like, partially the drifting thoughts are kind of a reaction. And sometimes they're just the reaction that you've lost focus. And sometimes they're a reaction to something in your environment. And being able to pause in the face of that reaction and then like actually make a decision. We're trying to create space. So like right now,
Yeah.
the space between cause and reaction looks like this. What we're hoping to do through the meditative practice is open up some space in here for some decision making.
Okay.
So that you'll have cause of the dog barking, and then this space right here where you go, I'm angry and I don't want to yell at my dog because I love my dog. And so maybe I'll like turn around and give him a little bit of attention and pet him instead, you know? Whereas like back here, it was, or I guess back here, I've got my camera flipped now. It was, my dog barks, and I turn around and I yell at him. And I didn't actually have any time to make a decision in that time frame.
Okay.
So
Okay,
basically, It's just learning to create space for yourself.